and then essentially output a 3D file that tracks the camera, or tries to figure out what the camera would be, so that you can create 3D objects that appear as though they are actually inside the scene, regardless of motion of the camera. So the first thing I want you guys to do is to go to this web page right here, and it's colinlevy.com. This is a free, for educational use, software called Icarus. And there are lots of different software packages out there for pay that you could use, but this one is free for you to download, and this person has supplied the videos, the software packages for you to download for Mac and for Windows. He's also got a series of tutorials which I highly suggest you watch. They go through how to use the software and some settings that you can use to get the desired results, but I'm going to go through some of that as well. So go ahead and download Icarus and download the tutorials for yourself and take a look at those. Once you've done that, what you're going to get is a file folder that has all of these files inside of it. So I'm going to open this calibration software in a moment here and show you how to use that to 3D-MatchMove. The first thing you're going to need is a video. So I've created this video using a Nikon SLR camera. It's just a quick video of my kitchen. So not super great quality, but it's 1080p resolution image. A little grainy because it was dark when I did this. So in the end, we're going to have some objects, or at least some text, appear on the surface of this counter. So let's get into the software. Okay, just double click on calibration and that'll open up Icarus. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this. And when you start off with Icarus, you need to make a new project. So I'm going to say project new. And from that point I need to import my movie that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to go to project import movie. Pretty simple. I've got a video pre-made on the desktop here. So I'm just going to make this window a little bigger so I can see it. Now this is the video I just played for you. And if I try to open this in here right now, it's going to give me an error and say this video is 1920 by 1080. The maximum resolution that Icarus will handle is 720 by 576. So just hit OK. So just remember that you have to have a video smaller than 720 by 576 to work in Icarus. And that's fine. So I've actually created one just by saving it out from QuickTime. And I can walk through that really quickly actually. So if this video is up on my screen, I would say File, Save As, and this is QuickTime 10. And I would just save it as a HD 480p video. And that's what I've done here. Simply hit save, it'll export it, and you'll get that video. It's also important to understand this resolution and settings in your video. So I'm going to open this first in QuickTime, and this is the exported version at a smaller resolution. I'm going to go into my movie inspector and just take a look at the information about this video. So I can see that the current size is 640 by 360. It's playing at a frames per second of 23.98. So basically it's 24 frames per second. It's no longer the 30 frames per second that it started at. So keep those settings in mind. So back in Icarus, I'm going to import my movie. It's the 480p. And it brings it in with this dialog box. And you can also see the settings down here. It says Kitchen 480p, name of the file, how many frames there are, what the size is, and what frames per second it's playing it at. So that's great. It's doing it correctly. 23.967 brought it in correctly. So wonderful. I'm going to change the setting for the aperture height to 35mm SLR because that's what I used. And this is going to be a free motion camera, meaning that it's handheld, it's not on a tripod. And we'll just do constant focal. We can always change our focal point in the 3D software. I'll change this to NTSC. PAL is a European format. Frame rate 99.97. Well, that's not correct. It's supposed to be 23.976. Okay? So we'll hit close. And that'll make everything sync together. All of the components will talk to each other well. Now, the first thing you want to do in Icarus is, essentially what Icarus does is it's going to find areas of contrast on your image, and it's going to track those areas and figure out how and where they exist in 3D space. It's also going to figure out what vantage point your camera was being shot from, and it's going to try to place that camera in 3D space for you as well. So the first thing you want to do is go into tracking and tracking parameters. I've already done this video, so I know that somewhere around 150 points is going to work okay. And that's not an exact number. It'll vary depending on the image that you're using and what Icarus decides it needs to do. Backtrack is a good thing to keep on. And all these are the defaults. I'm just going to leave it as its default settings, hit close. And then tracking, auto track. And it's going to do its thing. And you can see what it's doing actually is it's finding areas of contrast on your image, and it's actually tracking those points frame by frame throughout your image. And you can see things like this red showing up. So red is essentially no confidence, and green is 100% confidence. Yellow is in the middle. What we'll do towards the end is to get rid of anything that's red so that we have a more confident capture of the image. So that'll be the second video.